Ho, ho, ho! And welcome to Unprofessional Engineering. My name is James.
This is Luke. That was quite an introduction, James.
Thank you. I thought it was the best one I've done yet.
Very in the spirit of the holidays here.
Yes, sir. I've had a lot of practice at it because this is, in fact, the second time we are doing this episode, is it not?
I thought we agreed we weren't going to talk about this.
Well, I just want everyone to know why we will sound like we really know what we're talking about this time, because we've already done a dry run. We'll call it a dry run.
Nice.
This is just a marketing spin.
Yes.
You didn't lose the video. It's a dry run.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's talk about Santa Claus.
Okay.
As it is Christmas time, and Santa's going to be delivering packages all over the world in just a few days.
I think 4 or 5 to be precise, right?
Yeah, give or take, unless
Monday.
you're listening to this not today when we post it.
Okay.
But yeah, so how does he make it happen is what we want to talk about. Is it even mathematically possible?
Oh.
And does he exist? Obviously.
I mean, of course,
But
yes.
I thought we'd break down the math. What do you think?
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about what I call the math.
The maths?
Yes, the maths. Roughly 2 billion kids in the world. You agree?
Yeah.
Give or take. Santa only visits about 15% for different reasons.
They're bad.
They're mostly because they're bad.
I'd say that's the majority is they're bad.
Right.
But then there's also religions in certain areas of the world that just don't celebrate
Right.
Christmas.
And I have a problem with this, though, because in these assumptions that we're making, the religions don't always come into play, because I know that some people celebrate Christmas even though they aren't of a...
Particular faith.
Yes, of a particular faith. So I think our numbers might be a little off, but, maybe that will wash out with the math.
And not that our numbers are never highly accurate.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
I would say
are.
we're always pretty accurate.
Always.
But that's cool. All right, so 15% of the kids around the world get Santa time, meaning that's about 380 million per my numbers.
Okay.
And the average house has about 3.5 kids, so I'm seeing that to be about 110 million kids. That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But we assume Santa travels east to west,
Yes.
because that gives him more
He
time
picks
in
up
the
time.
day.
He picks up time.
7 hours. So now he's working with, what's that, 31
31
day.
hours is what he actually gets, which, I mean, who couldn't do that in 31 hours?
Right.
I mean, you and I could probably do this in 31 hours, just
Right.
saying.
So based on that 31 hours that he has to work with and the 110 million homes, he has to visit over 800 houses per second.
That seems reasonable.
Which is a lot, but it might be feasible. Now keep in mind that he has to park the sleigh, he has to get down the chimney, he has to fill the stockings, he has to put the gifts under the tree, assuming there's more than one. He has to eat some cookies, he has to drink some milk, he has to get back outside, and he has to get back on his sleigh at each stop.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like you're a true believer, and I like that.
I am. So, quick segue. Have you seen the video of the 2 Australian guys where, like, the one guy's playing Jesus and the other guy is, like, interviewing for the job of Santa Claus?
No, I have
And
not
he's
seen
describing to this Australian guy all the things that Santa has to do. And Jesus is trying to, like, make it sound good. And the guy that's interviewing for Santa Claus is like, this is horrible. There's a lot of cuss words in it, so it's not kid-friendly. But if you get a chance,
That
it's
is why
really
I
funny.
haven't seen it then.
Because you never cuss.
No.
It's really funny, though.
I am not a sailor, so therefore I don't cuss.
Okay, sorry for
Our
the
friend
segue.
Laurel is basically a sailor.
Yes, she is.
Right? Ugh, disgusting.
She swears way too much.
Oh my goodness. All right, so anyways, assuming the houses are separated fairly evenly, I have it estimated out to be like 0.75, 1 mile between houses, which
That
I know
sounds
you
about
had
right.
a little bit different numbers, but that's where I'm at on this one.
I'm with you.
And
Close
so
enough.
that means, and again, I don't agree with that because I think normally the houses are a lot closer, so he's going to hit a bunch of them without having to travel as far, and then he can ramp up his speed
Yeah.
and go long distance.
Yeah, and
to hit
like
these other
when
houses.
you're like out west and you're in the Midwest, right? There's you're out in the middle of like Iowa or something like that. You're done.
Right. And I mean, farmers just get tractors anyways,
Yeah.
so there's that.
Exactly.
Anyways, so with the 1-ish mile between houses, he's going to be traveling roughly 75 million miles in the 31 hours.
That
So-
seems low to me.
That seems low to you?
Yeah, but that's all right because
Okay.
I pulled a calculation, and not that I did the calculation.
I was going to say, you copy and pasted
I feel
what?
like yours was probably copy and paste too. Mine was closer to like 100 million miles.
Well, I guess if we're splitting the difference of 25 million miles in 31 hours, it's probably not a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. This means, for me at least, he's traveling 650 miles per second, or 3,000 times the speed of sound.
Which is totally fine because he's still way under the speed of light.
Which makes sense. You're right. If he's
Yeah.
under the, is that right? He's under the speed of light.
Yeah, he's 130, roughly 130 times slower than the speed of light. The speed of light is 300 million meters per second.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so
I don't know what a meter is. But
exactly. So he's basically slow compared to the speed of light, which, come on, it's easy.
Okay, so that's the basic maths.
Yes.
Do you think this is still okay? Because I have my doubts.
I don't. The only thing that gets me is the forces he's subject to. So based off of the speed he's traveling, whenever he is ramping up the speed to be at that top speed, because he can't be at, that 5 million miles per hour instantly. But to get to that, he's going to be under about 17 Gs.
That's a lot.
I feel like
That's probably more than like astronauts, right? Because that's like
multiple times.
Like 2 Gs or something.
Yeah, and 2 Gs is like so.
Anyone can do that.
So 17 Gs seems like a lot, but there's all kinds of aerodynamics involved with the sleigh and the reindeer. They got the antlers in front, and I feel like he probably has a special suit. So I feel like he can definitely compensate for the Gs with some of the tech he might have on the sleigh or aerodynamics.
Okay.
My 2 cents. And he's a big guy.
Okay.
You talk about how many cookies he's eating here in a little bit later on. I mean, so he has some room to spare. He has some cushioning to handle these Gs.
You're right. So let's talk about this weight issue a little bit more. So there's Santa, who's probably like a 300-pounder, right?
Yeah,
I've seen him when Mama Claus feeds him and plumps him up for the big trip. He's a big guy, but he also has all the gifts on there for the little kiddies, right? And hopefully for me, because I've been good this year, Santa, just saying. Anyways, let's say the kids get maybe 3 packages each, because they've been all very good. Let's say it's 5 pounds per kid for 3 gifts.
That seems reasonable. Some are getting books because they're nerds, and some are getting video games because they don't play outside ever, and so I'm sure it evens out to 5 pounds.
I feel like you have a lot of opinions about these things.
No.
Okay. Anyways, let's call that 1.9 billion pounds, or 950 tons, of presents on board.
Yeah.
That's one strong sleigh holding all of that.
Yeah, I tried to calculate the horsepower, and I ran out of room. I was trying to figure out how much horsepower he would need to move that weight and to get up to that speed, and it ran out of room. I used one of those online calculators, and I didn't know. It gave me a number, but I didn't know how to say the number. It was like, and then 20, and I have no idea what the number is.
Fortunately for us, we don't measure this in horsepower. We measure it in reindeer power.
That's probably where the problem came. The calculator was horse, not reindeer.
Right. Reindeer, on average, can pull 300 pounds. Okay. So if we take into account 1.9 billion pounds and 300 pounds per reindeer, Santa would need over 6 million reindeer to pull his sleigh. Not just the 9 that he has.
Well, that seems reasonable.
I mean, they are magic reindeer.
Well, yeah, so I think we could get away with and then remember Rudolph's out in front, so he's kind of like he's kind of like the one that he's the wild card in the reindeer. We don't know much about him.
So you're saying
the fact that he's
he's
radioactive,
carrying most of the 1.9 billion pound load.
He's a reindeer with a red nose. There's obviously something unusual going on with him. So I feel like there could be something there that helps him compensate for the lack of the other reindeer. I mean, his nose glows red.
Speaking of compensation, let's take a break for a word from our sponsor.
I love when we talk about our sponsors. And let me guess, the second time around recording this, we still don't have a sponsor.
That's why we're actually putting this off, because we did not score a sponsor.
We were waiting.
But in the true spirit of giving, maybe everyone here will go online, give us a review after listening to all these episodes.
A gift to us.
A gift to us, and say, this is a 5-star podcast. Go on iTunes and do that. Or if you want to give another gift, maybe we could get 2 gifts.
Yeah.
Click the subscribe button
I
on
love
iTunes
subscribes.
or wherever you listen and subscribe to our podcast.
Sitting
It's
under
like
the
the
tree.
gift to Luke and
It
James.
just keeps on giving.
It does we keep giving to you.
Yes,
This
we
is
do.
all for you.
This is.
And if nothing else, you can always email us and say, Happy Holidays, if you email unprofessionalengineering@gmail.com.
And we'll get you some sweet stickers.
You will get sweet stickers. That's great. Thank you, Luke.
It's the giving season. You know, it's
It
how
is.
I am.
You are a real giver.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on, before we do, can you name Santa's reindeer?
Oh, you.
And again, since you failed at it last time, let's see if you learned from last week.
Okay. There's Dasher and Dancer, Donner, Blitzen, Comet, Cupid,
I think you got these 2 last time.
Blitzen,
I think you just said Blitzen.
and there's
You named
Donner.
Blitzen twice, I think.
Dasher, Dancer, Donner, Blitzen, Comet, Cupid. Oh,
We don't have all day.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Prancer and Vixen.
Prancer and Vixen. They always get me. Those 2. And there was even a movie called Prancer. It was a horrible movie.
Was it bad?
It wasn't a great movie.
Did you ever see the movie where Michael Keaton melts or turns
It's
into
Christmas?
Frosty? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was kind of
bad.
creepy.
Jack Frost?
Yeah, it was
no
creepy.
good. Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, Santa experiencing 17,000 Gs, assuming he's 300 pounds, pushing back on the sleigh. The sleigh's pushing back, or he's pushing back on the sleigh, I suppose,
Yes.
with 4.3 million pounds of force. So this thing is a very well put together
Oh
sleigh.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure they use some type of simulation analysis. There's
One can only imagine.
Yeah, there's all kinds of software used to build this stuff.
Yeah. So I'm more concerned about Santa's health.
You know what? After hearing this last week, and I am too. I think I may put out like tofu with some almond milk, maybe.
Toe cookies.
Yeah, some toe cookies.
Barf.
Something that has no dairy.
Have you ever had tofu?
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's no good at all.
Maybe put out like a gluten-free, dairy-free cookie with some almond milk.
Okay, let's get into these numbers.
Yes.
How about that? Because we are very health conscious.
Of course. I mean, look at us. Right?
Yes.
Our listeners can't. If
That's
you
right.
could, look at us.
Right. If you're on the YouTubes, you can go there and
We're
look
the
at us.
models of health.
An average of 1 ounce cookie, we'll say.
Yes.
A chocolate chipper, because those are pretty good.
Yeah.
138 calories. Okay, we can manage that.
Yeah.
Taking into consideration the number of houses Santa has to go to and eat 1 cookie at each so that children know he's been there.
Yes.
I guess he could take 1 bite, but we're assuming it's 1 ounce. He's just going to down the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
14.9 billion calories for cookies.
He's working hard, man. I'm just saying.
But you can't just have cookies. You need milk to go
Yeah.
with that because milk, and cookies. That's
Yeah.
what to go with. Do you dunk your cookies, by the way?
It depends. I only like crispy cookies to be done. I can't eat a dry crispy cookie. If I dunk. If it's a soft cookie, no dunk.
Okay, that's reasonable. The milk averaging 103 calories for a cup of 1%.
And you're thinking he's doing a whole cup?
Well, for this I'm going to say so because
A
the
little sip.
math's
Yeah,
a little
it makes it a
easier.
little bit easier.
11.1 billion more calories, coming to a grand total for the 31-hour trip that he's on. 26 billion calories.
Well, you know what? It's a 31-hour trip, James. I'm not sure if you've ever been on a 31-hour trip where you like stayed up for 31 hours. And considering what he's doing, my guess is he needs the caloric intake. I would bet.
That's a lot of calories.
17 Gs for 31 hours.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's just like burning
his
it off
body
of him.
is like fighting those Gs, right? You have to have it.
It's true. Okay. Do you have any other info on that?
I do not.
Okay. There's a couple other topics I want to talk about before we get into the actual explanation of what's going on. The naughty or nice tracking. Crazy. What kind of system does he have? He doesn't have time to read all those letters, right?
I
He
mean,
must have some sort of...
He has help, I'm sure.
Well, he does have a lot of elves that are keeping track, and
Yeah.
moms and dads,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah,
But
you
still,
got the elves on the shelves, keeping track of things.
fitting down the chimney. I've seen the Grinch get stuck, and I mean, he had a little belly, but he was a small Grinch compared to a big Santa.
I agree.
And then, this is probably the most impressive thing, is that he's overseeing the whole manufacturing process of the elves. So think of all the SKUs that they have for these things, managing who's getting what,
inventory,
the manufacturing process, the inventory, the storage. Like, it's just a nightmare. You think Amazon has it figured out. Santa, way better.
Well, the thing, too, is, I said this last week, is if you think about this, he is like the original maker. Now, granted, he's probably training some elves, and they're doing a lot of the work. Like, he's not sitting down making Tinker Toys himself. He has people that he's trained properly, elves to be specific, that he's trained properly on how to make these things. So I feel like if you got the right, this, if you got the right help, like me working for you, if you have the right help, anything is possible. Right?
That's true. It is possible. True. Not likely, but possible.
Yes.
Okay. Couple of fun facts for you. You ready?
Shoot. Can we do, is it fun facts or can you ask me? Or doesn't it work that way because I know the answers?
No, this one doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't work this way. Did you know? Okay, no. Luke, what other two names does Donner go by?
I think Donder and I don't know the other one.
And Dunder.
Dunder and Donder.
D-O-N-D-E-R or D-U-N-D-E-R?
Is this like a country thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's just what I've read. Fun fact, Luke, what other names does Blitzen go by?
Blitzburg, because he's from Pittsburgh.
He's from Pittsburgh.
In the off season, he's in Pittsburgh, so Blitzburg, I think, is what
seems reasonable.
I don't know.
Blixen, B-L-I-X-E-N, and Blixem, B-L-I-X-E-M.
I like Blitzburg.
I do too. So that's kind of interesting.
I like that.
Now I do have an actual question for you.
Okay, shoot.
What is your favorite Christmas present ever?
This is an easy one. It was, and I even thinking about it a second time now. So whenever I was probably, 7, 8, 9 years old, somewhere around there, huge into G.I. Joe guys, and I wanted this. It was basically a plastic camouflage tent. And I remember I got the bag, and I literally went out in the snow.
Oh, no.
Pitched the tent, went out, hung out in the tent, played with my G.I. Joe guys literally all Christmas Day. And to this day, that was probably one of the best. And it stayed out there all winter. It was an amazing tent. It was by far the most memorable. It sounds
outstanding.
It was incredibly cold because obviously it was basically a camo tarp that was the A-frame tent. And it wasn't a great from a quality standpoint, but the memory.
The memory is what matters.
Yeah,
it lasts forever.
It was probably the only memorable one from back then. I don't remember too many other ones.
Okay.
What about you?
I don't know. There's a lot of great stuff.
Pick one.
I think my favorite, like the one that always sticks out, is one of those race car things with like the tracks, like the electric ones, like you hold down the trigger and they race and you race against someone. And mine, you were able to shift between the two tracks so you could like try and cut the other guy off, and you could conform it to make different like figure eights or circles.
Me and my brother had
those. I
those.
loved that. I used to race my dad and brother all the time.
And we used to take the cars apart, and we would like take the little rubber wheels
off.
All
you ever did was break your stuff.
I usually did. But you could put like the wheels did good. You could put them on another car, and the car that was faster, so you could like mix and match wheels and motors. And
wow.
The needle. Remember the needle in the front of the car that would keep it centered on the track?
Yeah. That's impressive that you did that.
Yeah. I love
all right.
those.
So before we move on, and I know I'm going to throw you off on this one.
I know you are,
but it's actually time for Luke's terrible engineering.
Terrible engineering. What did I do last week? Do you remember what I did?
Luke, I don't know. It was a week ago. I think I know the one. We talked about the tongue, but I don't know if it was this episode or another one.
So we're going to use this one again. It'll just be on twice.
That's how bad it is.
Because I feel, number one, and we have a coworker who looks identical. We're not going to say a name, but he looks identical to the person in the video. So you've seen this video on Facebook. It's a horrible idea. And basically, the premise is cats like being groomed. That's how they are social with one another. So some genius invented this tongue that you actually put in your mouth and you bite down on it like a mouthpiece, like a hockey or a football mouthpiece, and then it's this bizarre looking tongue that hangs down in front of your face. It's all ribbed and has these little nubs on it, and you basically hold your cat and pretend like you're
grooming him.
You're grooming and licking your cat. The video is
it's disturbing.
Amazing.
It's disturbing.
You have to see it. Just Google, cat grooming tongue or something like that. I'm not going to be held liable for what pops up when you Google that, but stupid.
So here's the thing, everyone listening. I think we did this one already last week that you've listened to, and this one's was something about cats and Christmas trees.
Oh, that's right.
So Luke hates cats. Luke hates cats messing with Christmas trees.
Oh.
But let me tell you my cat story.
Yeah. You had one that like destroyed a tree or something.
Well, not really, but my cat's name is Sam. He's a nice cat.
Of course.
He's a good cat.
Naming an animal with a human's name is always unusual.
Okay. So anyway, Sam gets baby gated away from the tree.
Because cats can't jump over baby gates.
He's a very fat
Oh,
cat.
that's right. This is your obese cat.
Sam's an 18-pounder. He's a big boy.
He's an
But he can get on the couch and on the arm of the couch.
Okay.
And he likes to bat at the fake tree
Okay.
and hit the ornaments and stuff. But then at night sometimes he gets extra feisty. And now it's happened twice, actually, where he jumps down or maybe falls. I don't know. He's not always very graceful.
Okay.
And he decides, well, since I'm down here, I'll start chewing on the tree. And he just starts munching the tree branches and taking all the like plastic things off of it. And he's not smart enough to like just knock the baby gate over because it's just propped up there. And so he starts wailing away, meow, meow, and wakes us up. But we don't wake up in time all the time. So he pukes green bits everywhere. And then he goes downstairs to his litter box and makes all sorts of festive things down there. So that's just great.
This
Thanks
is why
a lot,
I don't
Sam.
have a cat.
Yeah, they're
Thank you,
especially
Sam.
during Christmas.
Yeah.
Very bad.
And they're all over the internets right now with
getting in
the
trees
trees
and stuff.
and being total
Jerks. Cats.
jerks, cats.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yes.
So does Santa really exist?
Of course.
I feel like we've had a lot of information kind of saying no in this first half. Like traveling that fast seems like even for Santa it might not happen.
Before you get into your list, can I do my my tracking of Santa? Or do you want to hold that till the end?
Yeah, please do. This was amazing.
Yeah, so I never knew this, so anytime you're Googling stuff, you can always find something new that you don't know. So back in 1955, Sears Roebuck had a hotline where you could call in, and you would call this number, and it would say, Santa is over Indiana, blah, 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 traveling, whatever. So you could call in and do this. Well, in 1955, they did this, and they misprinted the ad for the phone number to call into, and they ended up calling the North American Air Defense Command, what is now NORAD.
That's awesome.
It was a different name then.
That is so funny.
The commander, the guy that answered the phone, or whoever answered the phone, said to the commander, "Hey, some bunch of kids are calling asking about Santa Claus." And because NORAD has the technology to track Santa, just like Sears did at the time,
right?
They said, The camera's like, yeah, we can check out where he is. So he looked on his Santa tracking equipment and found out where he was and would tell kids where it was. Well, they just kept doing this and doing this and doing this, and now it's a thing. If you go on to NORAD's website, you can actually track Santa for yourself. And the fact that this started as a misprint in an ad for Sears, and it totally decimated Sears' Santa tracking business.
I feel like they really got that like taken from them.
Yeah,
That's great.
Well, I mean, they gave it up. I mean, someone on the marketing team really dropped the ball on this one with a misprint.
It's that kind of marketing that makes me not so surprised that Sears is kind of under a lot of trouble right
but
now.
you get some great deals on some appliances. I was there the other day.
Yeah. What'd you get? Washer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well done.
Thank you.
Do they still sell Craftsman tools?
They do.
Is that their
and
thing?
I love Craftsman. Good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Moving on?
Yes.
Moving on. So does Santa really exist?
Yes.
Obviously, yes. But here's the working theory from leading Santaologist, Dr. Larry Silverberg,
Good old Larry.
professor of mechanical and aerospace engineering at North Carolina State.
So North Carolina, the guy's legit, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I
Just
mean,
making
he's
sure.
actually a professor there, so that's something. Santa's advanced knowledge of electromagnetic waves, the space-time continuum, if you're throwing stuff like that around,
yeah.
nanotechnology, genetic engineering, and computer science easily trumps the know-how of a common scientist.
So genetic engineering, is this like for the elves and the deer, you think?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got them on the juice.
HGH or RGH. Knowing what kids want. That's one problem that he has to address, right? What does each kid want? He has a personal pipeline into children's thoughts via a listening antenna that combines technology currently used in cell phones and EKGs. So it's kind of like Big Brother. to
Yeah, a
me.
little
Like,
bit. Kind of,
he's being
yeah.
a little creepy. Now, of course, we want to point out that writing letters to Santa still works.
It does. It does.
But he also has this other tracking method just to make sure that his list
Yeah,
is
because
accurate.
I mean, you have kids whose parents might not be into it. They might get lost in the mail. I mean, there's
I
all
wouldn't.
kinds of ways to get. Yeah, I would.
Yeah. My dogs don't get letters written to Santa.
No?
So, nah.
Okay.
Neither does Sam, because he'd be on the naughty list.
Yeah, he would be.
Not having enough time problem. You know, the whole 31 hours traveling pretty fast. Based on his advanced knowledge of the theory of relativity,
Yeah.
these are a lot of fancy things he's talking about. Santa recognizes that time can be stretched like a rubber band,
Makes total sense.
that space can be squeezed like an orange, and that light can be bent. This Silverberg sounds like a smart guy.
He does.
He uses what he coined the term relativity clouds, and they're controllable domains, basically like rips in time. And that allows him months to deliver these presents, while only a few minutes pass on Earth.
Interesting.
So he's spending basically the whole year delivering stuff, but because of these little tears in time, he's able to do it in the wink of an eye.
See, now, I feel like whenever you break down the science of this, I'm not going to say it ruins it a little bit, but I still believe that the reindeer eat special food and Santa Claus is magical and it's magic. Now, maybe magic is just what what I call magic is this guy's science.
When Barry Bonds was hitting all those home runs, he was taking magic as well to help.
Well, yeah, but his trainers were
And
doing
now he
it
has
to
an
him.
asterisk there.
But his trainers were doing it. He didn't.
That's true. He never knew
Yeah.
that he was getting very
Never
large.
knew.
How about building the toys issue? Got to build a lot of
Totally
toys.
reasonable.
His reindeer, genetically bred to fly, balance on the rooftops. And while they're there, wait for it, instead of building everything in the workshop, he utilizes a nano toy maker to fabricate the toys.
On-demand fabrication and
Done.
automation.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
easy.
amazing. So that takes care of that.
With 3D printers, you could kind of make anything, right?
Yeah. Getting into the house issue, doesn't even need to go down the chimney. That's a thing of the past. Now with these tears in the space-time continuum, Silverberg says that Santa actually just morphs into the people's homes. Since he's ripping through time anyways, he can kind of just materialize where he needs to be.
What's that game where they throw a hole up and then they put another hole and you go through one
Portal.
hole? Portal, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like Portal.
Yeah,
Right?
it is. Very educational game. That's a good one. It's a good puzzle solver.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never played it. I've seen it before.
It's very frustrating.
I could imagine.
And last but not least, all the food they eat. You know, we talked about how
Yeah.
Santa's taking in 26 billion calories. Silverberg says a nibble at each house to prove that he was there, obviously.
Yeah.
The remainder of the food, though, is either left at the house or placed in the sleigh's built-in food dehydrator to preserve for future consumption.
I also feel like he probably hits a lot of like shelters, the needy, people that are on the streets maybe. So I feel like he's grabbing a couple cookies and then he's catching up with the boys under the bridge, doling
could
out
be.
some milk and cookies, making sure that they have a Merry Christmas.
Well, now that we know he has all this time, he probably does.
Yeah, he could hang out with them if he wanted, I guess.
So I think we pretty well showed that even not factoring in magic, it can easily be done.
Oh, totally. I mean, regardless, we've proven it.
So that's great. I did have a couple other Christmas-related questions for you, though.
Oh, I love this. Go ahead.
What? That was good. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie, it's a toss-up between, I said Elf last time, but
You
it's
did.
a toss-up between Elf and Home Alone.
Elf and Home Alone. I like both of those. I like Home Alone more because Elf's so new still.
Yeah.
Mine, I always loved The Grinch, the cartoon Grinch,
Yeah, because
not the Jim Carrey
Jim
one.
Carrey one was
Yeah, that was weird.
Weird.
I also always loved Rudolph with the Bumble,
Bumble
the
and his-
humble Bumble.
And his tooth. Oh.
He's reformed and he can put the star on
Well,
top
he was
of the
just
tree.
mad because he had a sore tooth.
did, he had
And
a
what's his
tooth-
name wanted to be a dentist.
Yeah, Hermie.
Hermie. It's worked out perfectly.
Yeah, it did really work out well.
Yukon Cornelius.
Yukon Cornelius, do you know that he always like licks his pickaxe when he throws it? Because he was also searching for peppermint. But in the cartoon, they clipped that part out.
Really?
So it just made no sense why he would do that.
Yeah, I wondered why he licked that. That was
Yeah,
weird.
fun fact.
Okay.
So those were always like my two go-tos. But then my wife showed me a movie called Emmett Otter. Have you heard of Emmett Otter?
Emmett
And
Otter's
what is it? The Jug Band
Christmas.
Oh my goodness, so depressing. But I love it. Now it's a tradition. We watch it every year. It's super good.
It's a Jim Henson.
It is.
It's Muppet characters or Muppet type characters, and all he wants for Christmas is a washtub bass.
Well, I mean, not really, but that's close
And
enough.
his mother takes the bass. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody.
Don't ruin it for anyone.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, if you Google it, you can find the full-length movie on YouTube and a couple other places. So if you don't have it, you can find it. It's amazing.
Very good. And the last one I added since last week, Love Actually, is another one that's up there for me.
Someone told me
Basically, my favorite movie ever now. It's outstanding.
Love, and it's a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
And supposedly there's all kinds of big actors in this one too, right?
Yeah, it's pretty big, yeah. It's sort of a Christmas movie. Everything's based Christmas
Like
time.
around Christmas time.
Yeah, around the December.
Okay.
But that gets into my last question of, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Wow. You just went straight for it.
No.
But it's based during Christmas. But it was released in the summer, I think.
Yeah, you know what? It was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
It was good at the
It's
time.
fine.
Like when I look at it now, it was a little
not as good?
Not as good, but at the
Doesn't hold
time
up?
it was great.
Don't make me get Bruce Willis after you. I don't think it's a Christmas movie either.
Yeah, I
So
disagree.
I guess that's set in stone now.
Yeah, it is.
So stop the argument, people.
Yes, stop it.
All right, so I think that's it for Santa.
You know what? This was even better the second time around, I think.
I don't agree with that at all. I think it's half as good.
No,
but you know
this is
what?
what?
It's half as good and still better than any other podcast out there.
But we'll never know.
That's true.
Because we're going to call it the Lost Christmas One episode.
The Lost Christmas.
So basically I hit record and then 5 seconds later hit it again and it stopped.
I am missing that we don't have our holiday sweaters on.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can just imagine it.
Well, anyways, happy holidays to everyone out there. Remember,
Stay warm.
I was going to say subscribe and give us a Christmas present.
Oh wow, that's
Or,
kind of this time
give
of
us a
year.
review.
You're not being very giving. I was gonna say
I just gave them 35 minutes of gold. All right.
gold, Jerry, gold.
Happy
Alrighty.
holidays.
Happy holidays. See you. Bye.